Wake up to reality. Nothing ever goes as planned in this accursed world. The longer you live, the more you will realize that the only things that truly exist in this reality are merely pain, suffering, and futility. Listen. Everywhere you look in this world, wherever there is light, there will always be shadows to be found as well.
Yo, I hope you liked it, and as you see, this video will be what if Naruto had a Namikaze bloodline. So this bloodline, I was thinking either swift release or storm release. So I see that guy that sent me it. I forgot his name, but anyways, it's a fandom, so it's not actually real. But I'm gonna do a combination of it, if you catch my drift. So Naruto, yeah. So it'll be a combination of swift release and storm release. And so, let's get into it. We're going to start at the Chunin exam finals. Naruto is gathering chakra, thinking Nine Tails, open up. But something happens that he wasn't expecting. He used this similar to the Nine Tails chakra color, but it's orange with a yellow streak in it. Then he pulls it out. Then lightning crackles around him. And this is the legendary Namikaze bloodline. Hiruzen looks in awe. The Namikaze bloodline was said to be extinct because Minato didn't have it. But then Naruto rushes at Neji with lightning fast speed, almost teleporting, it looks like, to the blind eye. And so then Naruto swings his fist at Neji, who's not fast enough to dodge it, and Neji gets sended back all the way, hitting his head against the wall. Then Naruto charges up full speed at Neji, and Neji goes for a rotation, but something happens. Naruto then pulls all his strength into it, and then lightning comes out of Naruto's hands, and then it hits Neji's defense, and Neji's trying to rotate as fast as he can. And so then when Naruto lands his fist onto the shell of the rotation, it explodes, and there's a huge explosion. Naruto gets descended back into the wall, but Neji hits the wall, getting knocked out. And so Jinma says, Naruto Uzumaki is the winner. And the crowd roars at the excitement of what just happened. It's so cool, they think. And so, yeah. Naruto then cheers when the crowd roars. And he didn't know what that power was, but he hopes it was good enough to win. And so Hiruzen watches. And so then he alerts the Anbu, who knows it. One of the Anbu guards, Raido, because Raido knew that Naruto was the son of Minato Namikaze, because he was one of the Hokage's guards, and also he basically saw the Namikaze bloodline in action and knows of it from Minato. And so then Raido and his Anbu gear go to Naruto and says, Naruto Uzumaki, come here. And so then Raido goes on to explain Naruto is the fourth Hokage's son, and that what he used was the Namikaze bloodline, and to try to use it to the best of his ability. And after the exams, after the exams, learn how to control it and become the best. And Naruto nods with tears in his eyes and says, thank you, Anbu-san. And so the Anbu nods and leaves. And Naruto, with resolution in his eyes, says, Father, I'll prove you that I was the right person to give the Nine Tails to. And puts his fist in the air with pride showing, resolution, whatever you want to say. And so then Naruto, well, he basically gets ready to fight. And so when Sasuke fights, he's not worried about that. He's just trying to use that power again, but he can't. But then the attack happens. And so then Naruto gets told by Kakashi to go follow Sasuke. And so Naruto with Sakura runs. And so then Naruto, like after Shikamaru sacrifices himself and stuff, Naruto gives Gaara a kick to the face. And so then Naruto builds up that chakra again, and he is able to unleash it. Then he makes 100 shadow clones. And then in a flash of basically orange with yellow streaks of lightning, like Naruto's hitting Gaara all across the body with streaks of lightning just hitting Gaara all around. Then one of Naruto's clones kicks Gaara up with a lightning kick, it looks like. And so then Naruto says, Uzumaki Barrage. And Sasuke sees this and clenches his teeth and fists. Naruto, why are you so strong? And so then the clones just like disperse and Naruto sighs. But then Gaara gets back up and hits Naruto away. And so then Gaara transforms even more. And then he goes into the Shikaku-like form and says, Dead Possum Jutsu. And so then sand is wrapping around Naruto's whole body. And before Shikaku can crush him, Naruto says, Summoning Jutsu! And so then Gambabunta gets summoned. And so him and Shikaku have a battle to the death, basically. And so it's the same way. Like, they just go air bullets, water bullets, air bullets, water bullets. Like, simple. And so then when he gets the chance with the Nine Tails, he uses that lightning thing, and Sasuke, Shikaku, nobody sees where he went, and so he's right in front of Gaara and cocks his fist back and gives him a nasty right hook. But then Gaara makes sand go around him, but then Naruto just disappears, and the sand just falls off him, and he hits Gaara again with the kick to the face. And so then Naruto's flying to the ground with Gaara. So then Naruto headbutts Gaara into a tree, making Gaara hit onto the tree and bounce all the way to the ground, being almost knocked out. And so then the Gaara says, Naruto Uzumaki, why do you go so far? And Naruto starts saying, I know the pain. And so then he gives them that Taught no Jutsu. I'm not gonna reiterate whatever it's called. Do not correct me on that, please. But anyways, Naruto, well, he says, I know how you feel, Gaara, but you have to push through. You have to push through, Gaara. You have to push through. You have to push through. You have to. But anyways, after he gives Gaara that Taught no Jutsu, Sasuke and Sakura arrives. And so basically, they take him to the hospital. And so the next day, Naruto wakes up in the hospital. And so then he says, what happened? What happened? So then he gets released by the doctors. And so Naruto sees Jiraiya and Raido or the Anbu, he thinks, but it's Raido. So anyway, flashback no jutsu. Raido appears next to the elders and Jiraiya, and they ask, what are you doing here, Anbu-san? And so Raido says, I have to train the next Namikaze, he says. And they're like, what do you mean? Who's the next Namikaze? Fault, like, faking ignorance. And Raido says, don't lie. I know Naruto Uzumaki is actually Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. Then all of them get on guard and like in a ready to end Raido's life. But Raido puts up his hands and says, Actually, the third Hokage issued me to train young Naruto. Even though Jiraiya was trying to take him under his wing, I've gotten orders to train Naruto, and this is a 3-year training mission. And so he puts it up in the air, and so the Anbu and Jiraiya go knowing it, like it has the third Hokage's like top signature like stamp, and so they can't even reverse it with the council or anything. It's the highest degree. And so they nod, and then Raido goes on to go with Jiraiya, and Jiraiya says, Naruto, Raido will be coming with us, and he'll be training you for the next 3 years along with me, he says. And so Naruto nods happily. It says, that's great. Anbu-san, isn't it? And Raido chuckles and says, yes, it is. And so Raido says, well, I guess we'll have to be built on trust. And he says, I'm Raido. I'm Raido, and I was the fourth Hokage's assistant. And Jiraiya widens his eyes. He met Raido before. He was a good kid. And so Jiraiya nods and says, well, let's get on with it. And so they go on to leave, and Jiraiya says, I'll be teaching you the fourth Hokage's jutsu. And so Jiraiya nods, and so Raido looks in interest. He's heard of it. And it was the Rasengan. And Raido says the first step. And so then Jiraiya tries to cut him off, but Raido looks at him and says, how is he supposed to learn if he doesn't know the steps? I'm pretty sure Minato taught you the steps and how they work. You're not just supposed to show him. And Jiraiya concedes, but says, but we can't baby the kid. And Raido says, baby him? He's been alone for his whole life. He doesn't have Jiraiya-sama, you don't know what has been happening in the leaf. He's been scorned his whole life. He knows how to not get coddled and babied. And so Jiraiya concedes, and so then Raido tells him the first step is rotation. You're trying to rotate the ball. And so Naruto nods and gets to work. Since he knows what the basic principles and steps of it is, he gets it quicker, you could say. I would say he would finish the first step right before. Yeah, it would be before Kisame and Itachi. Yeah, it would be before Kisame and Itachi. That's what I think. Oh, I'm doing this totally wrong. Kisame and Itachi fight before they meet. Okay, you know what? He'll just be he'll like do it before they get here since Raido's there. And so when Naruto decides to go to sleep for the night, with him and Raido sleeping, there's a knock on the door. So so then Raido opens up the door to see Kisame, Hoshigaki, and Itachi Uchiha. And so then Raido steps back, gets out his katana and attacks them. And so with Naruto behind him, fighting. And so right when Kisame is about to hurt Raido, Naruto yells, stop! And so then in a burst of yellow and orange lightning, Naruto kicks Kisame and his sword back, cracking the wall, and Kisame grins. You're good, kid. You're stronger than I thought. like maybe the fourth Hokage did give you a bloodline, kid. And Naruto growls, "Don't talk about my father." And Kisame grins even wider. You know, well, Itachi, the brat, knows who his father is. And Itachi grunts. And so then Sasuke yells, "Itachi!" And attacks him and proceeds to get bodied. Gets a broken wrist. And so, well, after this fight, or whatever you call it, Jiraiya appears. And he proceeds to trap them in his toad mouth jutsu, as you see here. And so they run, and so now they're going to see Tsunade. Then Naruto. Well, I really don't got any other pictures besides my thumbnail, and so you're just gonna have to deal with this. You know what I mean? And you see two Narutos. That's great, right? You see two Narutos. But anyways, Naruto, well, he, while he's training, Jiraiya's looking for Tsunade or trying to get information about her, which means go to see the ladies. And so, well, Naruto, right now, since he has the the first step down, Raido told him the next step is power. And so, Naruto's trying to use all that power. And not like right before Naruto is able to finish the second step, he has to meet up with Tsunade and like her apprentice. And so Naruto walks on with Jiraiya into this open bar with Raido behind them, and they see Tsunade, and Jiraiya waves, "Tsunade!" And so Tsunade, as Jiraiya walks over and he sits down with Naruto next to him, he proceeds to say that the Hidden Leaf wants her to become Hokage. And she doesn't like that. And so she's like, "I'm not going to the Leaf. And being Hokage is a fool's job." And Naruto gets up and says, "How dare you talk about the Hokages like that? My father, Lord Third." And then he covers his mouth. But luckily, nobody heard him, but besides the people at the table. And Tsunade says, "Who's your father? You do kind of like the fourth Hokage." And so Jiraiya says, "Kid, you have to shut your mouth." And so Tsunade says, "Ah, you are apprenticing the fourth Hokage son, Jiraiya. What does this accomplish? He's just gonna die just like his father." And Naruto gets him and says, "What you say, old lady?" And so she says, "I'm gonna take this outside." And Naruto says, "Let's go." And so then Naruto says, since you have to talk about my father so much, how about I use our bloodline?" He says in anger. And so then Tsunade thinks Minato, the Namikaze bloodline died out. Minato didn't get it. And so, but then she sees yellow and orange electricity around Naruto. Then Naruto rushes Tsunade. And then in a blink, she clashes with Naruto, making a mini shockwave. Boom! And so Jiraiya looks at the all power and amazement, and so he says, Tsunade blocked a fast attack from the Namikaze bloodline, and Naruto took the brute strength of her. This is amazing, he thought. And he thought, I wasn't able to take Tsunade's punches at his age, or even at any age, basically. And so Naruto proceeds to attack with flashes, but Tsunade's able to counter with her fast reaction timing. Then she flicks Naruto and says, "Kid, why do you want to be Hokage so bad?" And until Naruto says, "I want to become Hokage so that I could protect the leaf of my life. That's my nindo. That's my ninja way." And Tsunade saw a flash of dawn in Naoki and Naruto. Then she says, "Let's make." And so then Naruto rushes her with his speed, and then brings an incomplete Rasengan at her. And so he brings with both hands, and so um he attacks, but but she flicks him away, and yeah, and so well she makes a bet with Naruto like in the original, and so Raido walks over to Naruto and says, "Don't use two hands, because it won't be a perfect Rasengan unless you learn it how Minato Sama and Jiraiya Sama did," he says. And so Naruto nods and says, "Yes, Sensei." And Jiraiya's sweat drops and says, "Why don't I get called Sensei?" Then Naruto exclaims, "Because you're a pervert, Jiraiya Sensei." Or pervy sage, he says. Yes, pervy sage. And so then Naruto proceeds to go with Raido and practice his second step of power with just one hand. And so, time skip, 5 days later, Naruto is able to do everything 5 days later, but with one hand. So he basically proceeds to do everything with one hand, and everything basically goes the same. And so Naruto's able, but like he wings it and stuff, like he did last time. And so him, Raido, and Jiraiya proceed to go. And so, well, since Raido's there helping, Raido fights Raido would go with Jiraiya to fight Orochimaru since Jiraiya is weakened, and so Naruto, Shizune, and Tsunade is with Kabuto because Raido is able to do more with Jiraiya than he would with, you say. Well, he would able to help Jiraiya more. Like if you catch my drift. And so, yeah. And so, well, Naruto runs at Kabuto when Shizune gets on the ground. And so then he flashes behind Kabuto, landing a devastating kick to the back. And Kabuto says, "Where's that speed coming from?" And so Orochimaru looks in interest and says, "Who is that kid?" And so Jiraiya says, "It's he." What do you mean, Orochimaru? You know him. He's Naruto Uzumaki. And so Orochimaru narrows his eye and says, "You're not telling me something, Jiraiya. I will figure it out." Then he sees Naruto flash and says, "He's Minato's kid? I thought he didn't have one." He exclaims. And so Jiraiya grins and says, "Well, Orochimaru, that's just the truth," he says. And then Orochimaru snarls and attacks Jiraiya. And so then, Kabuto attacks Naruto again, but he keeps flashing, making Kabuto annoyed. And so then Kabuto runs at Naruto with his full speed, and Naruto wasn't expecting it. But before Kabuto could get any closer, Naruto extends his hands out, and so then he says, "Storm release, electric blast," and so then orange and yellow streak, lightning comes out of Naruto's hands and shocks Kabuto, making Kabuto freeze. And so then Naruto is able to land a hit on him. And so then Naruto charges up Rasengan while Kabuto gets up no problem and runs at Kabuto. And so with one hand, since Naruto's able to just use one hand, you could say it'll be easier for him to dodge, but he would dodge better, of course, than like with two hands. And so since he would dodge better, he would get hit, not almost the heart. So it'll be like maybe the waist maybe, or the sides, the liver maybe, but I don't know. But it wouldn't be the heart, I don't think. And so Tsunade heals him when she thinks that he got hurt bad and will almost die. And so then Naruto gets up faster, but then Orochimaru attacks. And so Tsunade protects him, says, I'll be the fifth Hokage. And so then they go on to do their three-way deadlock Sannin fights. And so Tsunade, well, just does her thing. And so the rest pretty much goes the same, with Naruto just being better with the Rasengan and with flying, well, not flying Rajan, but his bloodline. And so then when Naruto returns back to the leaf, Tsunade gives him Genin status, since he's basically has a bloodline and is way stronger than some tuning. And so he becomes a tuning, but then Raido puts Naruto under him and gets trained by Raido, basically. And so yeah, Naruto starts his training with Raido in his bloodline. And so, well, basically, since they already have an understanding of it, Raido has Naruto do some speed training. And with this, Naruto starts. And so Raido tells Naruto to put on some weighted pounds. And so Raido says, this will help your taijutsu get even better, and I'll be teaching you your father's taijutsu that me and your guards in the guards couldn't get, because Namikaze naturally has a lot of speed, and he told him that. And so Naruto nods and says, yes, sensei. And so he starts the training like of hell, he calls it. And so Sasuke and Kakashi and Sakura right now, the team is messed up a lot, since Naruto is basically the heart of Team 7, and since that's away, Sasuke's always in a grumpy mood. Sakura is fangirling again, and Kakashi, it's Kakashi. He's just Kakashi. And so, now, it's basically Naruto trains and does some missions with Chunin, and so it gets time to the Sasuke retrieval arc. Oh, and since Naruto doesn't visit Sasuke because he's training all the time, he doesn't meet with Sasuke like he did, and so the people just take advantage of Sasuke's bad mood and just make him join them. And so, yeah. And so Sasuke leaves with them with Sakura. And so then Naruto and Shikamaru become the team leaders with, and so the whole Rookie 9 is also surprised, you could say, that Naruto's even getting training by an Anbu, basically, and he became Chunin, and Shikamaru says it's a drag, like usual, and so they go on to leave. And so you could say that Naruto wouldn't get trapped by the Dome of Earth when they're trying to follow Sasuke, and I would agree with you. And so Naruto doesn't get trapped and makes 10 clones. And so the guy still thinks Naruto's in there because one of his clones got stuck. But then Naruto makes more clones. And so his clones ambush him once the other people leave, because he's hiding in the bushes. And so then he ambushes them, and so that gives everyone else a chance to escape. And so with this, they like they're able to catch up faster, and the fights will just be faster overall. And so Naruto, well, he faces off against Kimamaru. So with Naruto, with his new speed, he's able to weave and dodge. Just weave and dodge Kimamaru's bones attacks with a kunai and using his speed. And so Naruto's able to get some hits on Kimamaru since he is using his bloodline. And so it goes on to Rock Lee appears in Naruto, and Rock Lee will proceed to fight. And then Gaara appears, and so Naruto runs to catch Sasuke. And so when Naruto catches up with Sasuke, they proceed to have the fight of the Valley of the End. And so since Naruto has gotten trained from an Anbu and has adapted some Anbu stuff and has started to learn his father's bloodline, his father's taijutsu, he proceeds to use it against his fight in Sasuke, and so he uses his speed to get more hits. And so Naruto will body like Sasuke like in the taijutsu portion. Even with his Sharingan, Sasuke's body can't react to it, and his eyes can't even track it, his movement. And so since this happened, he gets bodied in the taijutsu, but then he goes to his curse mark form, and so he starts using ninjutsu. And so with this, Naruto dodges and uses the limited bloodline jutsu he knows and shadow clones. And so with this, well, Sasuke just then goes to his curse mark 2 form and charges up his finishing move, like Chidori. And Naruto charges over Rasengan in one hand, and since he knows it with one hand and it's mastered, it'll have more power output. And I researched my thing, and if he's putting in more force into his one hand, his power output will increase by 2 times. You can look it up yourself, because I'm not giving you no link in the description or anything. And so, since he's basically stronger from the 2 times, with the 9-tails increase, think about that. With a one tail increase, you could, yeah, Naruto would still get Chidori'd by Sasuke, but not in the heart, but probably the liver or lung. But it gets healed by the 9-tails. So since the 9-tails help Naruto out, Naruto runs up at Sasuke and yells, "Sasuke!" And then Sasuke yells, "Naruto!" And so then Naruto puts on his lightning cloak at the last second and clashes with Sasuke. They clash in like a deadlock. And so then they both get blown away. And so then they both get knocked out, being an equalizer. I chose to equalize it because some people think it's conflicting, and it could be, but it's whatever, And so Sasuke and Naruto, well, they get both taken back by Kakashi to the leaf. And so Naruto goes on to get 2.5 year training with Jiraiya and Raido, and Sasuke gets punished for 5 months, and then he starts his training with Kakashi, and yeah, everything's fine. And so on the way, Naruto even does tons of missions, and even joins the Anbu, but not really, as the name Fox or no, as the codename Orange Flash, and he gets known around the ninja world as the Orange Flash of the Leaf, doing tons of missions with Raido and Jiraiya, and becomes Jonin, and so he comes back to the Leaf, and now it's the Gaara retrieval arc. So Naruto heads with Sasuke and Team 7 in them, and Team 7 has this aura of intense and not calming nature because Sasuke's still mad at. Oh wait, Naruto would face Kakashi, just Kakashi, and defeat him easily, and he'll just. Well, no, he's already Jonin, so she doesn't need to know anything, and so he doesn't face Kakashi at all. And so, well, since that happened, Tsunade just has Team 7 and Naruto go. And yeah, it's this aura of intense and angry because Sakura resents Naruto for injuring Sasuke back then because she still became a fangirl because Naruto didn't lose his fight. And so she resents Naruto in some way. And so yeah. But like she still became Tsunade's apprentice, and Naruto's now knowing why he shouldn't like Sakura because she hates him for that, and so yeah, Naruto's changing his opinion of her, and so then she saves Kankuro, and so it leads up to him Naruto facing Deidara, and so when Kakashi takes one of Deidara's arms away, Naruto proceeds to use his lightning ability, his lightning bloodline, and flashes uses an orange and yellow flashes next to Deidara, and so then Naruto proceeds to kill Deidara because he's like right next to Deidara, and he Rasengan's Deidara in the heart, killing him in the process. And with that, Gaara, Gaara's dead, and so then Chio, revives herself, and like in the end, with Kakashi and Naruto coming back, and helping them out to beat them, and so since Sasuke's with them, they don't need any information, and so since that happened, yeah, Gaara gets revived, and Naruto gets named Hero of the Leaf, and so then Sasuke and Sakura finally know, and Kakashi, that Naruto is the Orange Flash of the Leaf, and so then they know that, and so then Tsunade announces Naruto as a Namikaze hair once they get back, and Naruto gets his house and his name Namikaze Air, and so now Tsunade will grant Sasuke a mission to kill Itachi once he gets it, but then but then this is when Jiraiya dies, and so Naruto goes to get Sage training, and when this happens, Naruto comes back. And the pain fight, Naruto with Sage Mode and his in his bloodline is able to defeat pain easier, and you could even make an argument that he doesn't need to use Nine Tails, which I would agree with. And so with that, Naruto actually becomes Hokage in this one, since he is already Jonin level, and like it said, to be able to beat Pain without the Nine Tails, a Rinnegan user without the Nine Tails, he becomes Hokage to Danzo's distress, and so he proceeds to go to the Cage Summit. And so when Naruto arrives, when he takes off his hats, everybody's surprised. Oh yeah, and Sasuke comes right back to the Leaf after he kills Itachi. And since he's in the Leaf, he knows about the Sharingan and plucks Itachi's eyes and then he crushes his own eyes because there's no points. And so, yeah. And so Naruto. Oh yeah, and like Sasuke comes after the pain attack, of course. And so Sasuke also figures it out, and so he kills Danzo while Naruto's at the Cage Summit, with Kakashi as an interim Hokage agreeing to it because of what Danzo did. And so then Naruto at the Cage Summit saw Tamari. And so this will be a Naruto X Tamari fic. You already know. And so, Onoki was glaring at Naruto and Kurasuchi because he is the son of the freaking Yondaime. And so then they calm down and, Obito attacks, but like Zetsu attacks, but there's nothing. And so Kisame, I would say Kisame would attack Killer Bee, but since like Obito would tell them like what happens, they right away goes to Killer Bee right after they declare Naruto as the leader, and gets told to he will have to train with the Nine Tails and get to know him. And so Naruto goes on to learn how to use the Nine Tails, and after that, they fight Obito with Sasuke, Tsunade, Onoki and all them, and so they just Obito gets overpowered, and Orochimaru isn't dead, and Obito wouldn't trust Orochimaru, you could say. I mean, why would Orochimaru do that? Orochimaru wants Sasuke. He doesn't want to take over the world. Unless Obito promises him, the Sharingan. But I don't think Obito would do and would have time to do. And so Obito just fights with the Zetsu army, which he gets bodied. I mean, you could say, so Obito and Madara get defeated, and Naruto becomes the greatest Hokage, marrying Tamari and rebuilding the Namikaze bloodline. So, it's the end of it, and I hope you liked it. Please like and subscribe and share it to anybody who likes what ifs, and bye.